You're a videographer or a producer, then I'm sure you want to buy that new camera gear. That gear that's gonna bring your productions to the next level. But then I also know that you probably struggle when trying to convince your boss or the finance team. They're gonna question you, why? Why do we need that? So, in this video today, I'm gonna help you convince your boss or finance or whoever is holding the wallet. Maybe that's you. But hey, let's also be honest here. A lot of times we just want to buy new gear because it's the camera that everyone's talking about. And at the same time, you have stuff on your equipment shelves that is just gathering dust because no one is actually using it. I am Osvaldo from Check Room, and this video is all about making smart decisions based on data when buying new camera gear. Then you want to know what camera is being used the most and what's just sitting on the shelf. And with that, you'll be able to make smart decisions on what to buy next and if it makes sense to buy. So now let's go over the steps that you need to take to actually gather that data. And after that, I'll show you how to actually do it. First of all, everything has to start with an equipment inventory list because you need to know, what do I have? So if you don't have that equipment inventory list yet, then check out this video here. I'm gonna show you how you can build it up from scratch. And second, make sure that you document your purchase dates, because this will help you assess the age of your equipment and make decision on if it makes sense to buy a new model, for example. You should also keep log of each time that you use that piece of equipment. Like for what project, what was the date of the checkout, and that's gonna help you know what's being used a lot and what's not. Next thing you need is to assess the performance of each piece of equipment. Note down every issue you had with each piece of equipment, malfunctions, or any time that you felt your equipment fell short. And finally, you have to review your budget for new camera gear purchases. So once you gather that data, you'll be able to see what's not being used at all, take that equipment that's just gathering dust and sell it or maybe rent it. And that's gonna open up budget so you can buy that new camera that you really want. Okay, now I'll show you how to actually do it. And in order to do it, you need some sort of a checkout workflow. You need to know what gear is being used, by whom, and how often. One simple way would be to use Google Forms so your peers can make equipment reservations. And on this form, you should have all the basic information about who's booking it, for how long, and what gear will be checked out. For example, on our Google Forms, we can see that this Canon 5D here was the most used camera body, and that this lens was the one that went out the most. You can also, for example, see what are your busiest months. It really depends on what you ask in that form. So make sure you think it through. I made a video about how to create that Google form to request equipment, so if you're curious, check it out here as well. However, Google Forms can only show you that much. What if you want to know what gear is breaking down the most? What are the main common issues with that specific model? It's going to be a nightmare if you try and do that with Google Forms. And that's why using an equipment management software like Check Room that can generate reports with just one click will definitely help you convince your boss to buy that new camera gear. With Check Room, you can make reservations, you can make checkouts, you can flag your items, and just use the software as you go with your productions. And that on its own is going to generate a lot of data about your equipment. And with that data, you can just go to the reports section and you can see what gear is being used the most, what's just sitting on the shelf, who is using gear a lot. Maybe you have people in your team that are using a specific type of camera more often than others, or what's been breaking down, what's the most common issue with Canon cameras, with lenses. You can do all that with just one simple click, and you can share that with everyone in the team. So you don't need to convince your boss, just say, hey boss, have a look at this. These are the cameras that are being used a lot, and I think we need more of those. So if you got curious about what Check Room can do for you and how you can use Check Room to convince your boss to buy that new camera gear, then you have to watch this video right here. And make sure you share it with your boss. Where was this? Like here? We got a blooper!